This is an ADC warning. The crimes you're about to see are true. Only the names were changed to protect the ignorant. Tonight, you'll see some dopers who are a little too hospitable, a jewelry store full of dumb criminals, and a dumb criminal who is disarmed and dangerous. These are just a few of America's dumbest criminals. Welcome to America's Dumbest Criminals. I'm Daniel Butler. You know, we thought we'd get numb to the sort of crime we see in our research for this show. However, most of the numbness remains in the heads of our subjects. Come with us now and plumb the depths of human stupidity as we open the files on America's Dumbest Criminals. First up, retired officer David Hunter tells the story of an armed robber who goes over the edge.
It was one about an out-of-state armed robber. As an officer attempted to pull him over one night, he panicked. And his car burned out, flamed out on him as he was crossing the interstate bridge. And he assumed that he was still at ground level where he had been when the pursuit started. So he was a little surprised when he bailed out over the side of the railing and dropped 45 feet to the rock quarry below. He survived.
You have to run before you can fall. In Montana, it used to be against the law for a wife to read her husband's mail, but it was legal to bake using his letters. Not everyone knows the proper etiquette for late-night visits. For starters, you should always ask, who is it?
I was working uniform patrol many years ago. In the proverbial midnight, it's boring and nothing's going on. We get the loud music call. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, no big deal. As always, we just go knock on the door, tell the people, turn the music down. This particular time, we're knocking on the door. We're not really getting an answer, so we knock a little louder. People inside said, "Come in." So we open the door. All these people are sitting around the round table, snorting cocaine.
Everybody, stop what you're doing now. Put your hands behind your head. Hands behind your head now. We got a little party going on here.
There had to be about an ounce of cocaine on this table, and they're just, uh-oh. So 8 people went to jail just by saying, "Come in." And on the way out, you just tell the guy, didn't your mother ever tell you, ask who it is first?
ADC quiz number 731. Tunneling underground, 3 men came up through the floor of what was supposed to be the bank. It wasn't. Was it A, the parking lot of the police station, B, an empty warehouse, or C, a Midnight Madness sale at an appliance store? The correct answer is C, a Midnight Madness sale at an appliance store. A great place to launder money. But now they're doing laundry at the state pen. And now, from the ADC security cam vaults, no cops here. This is actual hidden surveillance footage of an undercover officer buying cocaine in a motel room. The man you'll see in the ball cap is a dealer. And what did they watch on TV while doing a dope deal?
Man, MTV. MTV, rock.
Now, every dope deal begins with small talk and shooting the breeze. And in no time at all, the dealer is ready to risk 20 years in prison for $1,600.
All right, they're going out to the car to pick it up and bring it back in.
Now, the one thing that always takes the most time in every dope deal is counting the money.
They should. Tap line, you make me lose count.
Finally, the deal is done. But the undercover officer decides to give the dealer one last tip.
Oh, man, shove that in front of your pants.
It was like something there.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, that's what you don't want me to do. Right down in front of my pants. It's just something about it. I like having the money in the front. For some reason, the police don't seem like they want to grab around your stuff. Oh, but they will. I'll stay as far away from them as I can.
Now, an undercover officer tells us about an early training mission.
I work as an undercover officer for narcotics for the sheriff's department. And my first or second day there, one of the other officers asked me to go and buy some prescription drugs from this woman.
There he is. Come on in. Come on. Hello?
Hi, yeah, you sell pills here?
Oh, yeah.
I was not familiar with any of it. I had to take a piece of paper with me that had the names of the pills on it.
Quaalude.
Quaalude?
Yes, Quaalude, yes.
How many?
Many as you have. Good. Yeah, that's
And in front of this woman that I was buying the pills from, repeatedly had to go back to the piece of paper right in front of her and say,
Twinal.
Two and all.
Two and all, yes.
How many?
Another bag. Many as you have, be good. That's fine.
20, 30 in there.
Okay. How about some methamphetamine?
Speed.
Speed, yes.
How many?
Another bag. However many you have.
There it is. There you go.
So, how much do I owe?
she sold me a quantity of prescription drugs for a price of $250.
Okay. Yeah, ma'am, I'm a police officer and you're under arrest.
Oh, you are not a cop.
Yes, I am.
How you get in my house? What the cop doing in my house?
There was a house full of evidence, but nobody home. Later, on America's Dumbest Criminals, a joyride to the county jail that turns ugly. Undercover police work can be pretty dangerous. You've got no cruiser or uniform and very often find yourself outnumbered. It's worth it, though, when your hard work pays off and you infiltrate a criminal organization all the way to the top and meet the brains, or half-brains, of the operation. Now, let's cruise for drugs undercover on a college campus in Taken for a Ride.
Hey, man, y'all give me a ride?
Come on, hop in.
Two undercover officers were cruising the campus to make dope contacts with their own jerry-rigged camo cap cam. They stopped to give hitchhiking dopers a ride. Almost immediately, their hitchhiker lit a big joint.
Smoke a joint?
No, man.
How about you?
The officers told them that they were looking to cop some dope. No problem. This doper knew plenty of people with pot.
You seen this stuff before? You seen it? You tried this? Absolutely. Good stuff.
For the rest of the night, the narcs were taken from house to house by the helpful doper.
Try these for size.
Great.
They made deal after deal on videotape.
Check it out. Check it out. Yeah, okay.
They had enough evidence and enough faces on video to make a major bust, based on one hitchhiking ride. Having a great day, the doper told the undercover officers of a friend in the next town who supplied half the campus. So they all drove over to meet the big man on campus himself.
Liking this too, man. Very cool. Come on, man. Let's go.
Whew, where we going, man?
Let's just take a little walk. Come on.
After scoring big, the agents told their happy passenger that they wanted to take him someplace for a big surprise.
You guys been the cops all day? Whoa.
What a bummer. He's dumber. In New Jersey, it's against the law to detain a homing pigeon. But you can, like Castro, shown here in Hackensack, legally sing like a stool pigeon. Next up, Annetta Nunn tells a story of mass stupidity in I Was Only Trying to Help Myself.
Officers received a call at a jewelry store in downtown. They went in, they saw one.
You behind the counter, stand up. I didn't do nothing, I was just trying to stop him from stealing. You, step over to the counter. I got two over here. Got two more, get up, stand up. Is anybody else in here? I don't know. anybody else in here.
They got 9 out of there, and later on, after investigating it, they found out that one of them, I think it was the youngest one, that he was supposed to be the lookout, but he went inside also. I don't know whether he got cold or he was just greedy, but he didn't see the police driving up, so all of them were caught inside of the building.
It's always the little guy who's the sweet pea brain of the outfit. Now we take you inside the courtroom for a trial and error. Listen from actual courtroom transcripts as a dope dealer tells about his twisted social conscience.
Mr. Scott, you went into the police station to demand the arrest of a drug dealer in your neighborhood, is that correct?
I was so afraid that kids was gonna get hurt by the cheap drugs he was selling.
And that's when you threw down the cheap drugs that he had sold to you.
That's exactly right. The man's a crook.
Coming up, Jerry Potts tells us about a real blockhead who suffers from a mental roadblock. On America's dumbest criminals. Next up, Dan Newman of Las Vegas recalls serving a warrant that placed him in harm's way.
Well, we did a drug bust once when I was in narcotics. We didn't know that he only had one arm. So we went into the house and he was running around with no arm. And in the bedroom, there's this prosthesis.
Hey, I got him!
One of the guys yells out, "Hey, I've got the suspect, he's unarmed," you know, so.
Two would-be carjackers were shocked when they tried to pull a driver out of his car at a red light. He sped away, leaving one of them holding his artificial leg. The dumb criminals later tried to plea bargain for just pulling his leg. Now, Paul Heaton of Charlotte takes us back to his encounter with stupidity in occupational hazard.
While driving home one night after work, I was in plain clothes driving my own personal vehicle, and driving down the road, all of a sudden I was rear-ended by another car. Well, we pulled over to the side of the road, and the guy got out. He was covered in beer.
You wait right here. I've got to go make the call.
It seems the reason he had hit me was because he had just turned up a can of beer, and looking down, when he looked down, bam.
What are you doing?
Trying to get rid of the beer can before the cops get here.
I said, yeah, they probably wouldn't understand that. So we're standing there waiting on the officers to arrive to take the report, and just as the police cars pull up, he says, so he had been talking the whole time, running his mouth. He says,
"Hey, what do you do for a living?"
Hey, Paul, you have an accident? I'm a cop.
His knees started to sag at that point. And he just...
Of all the cars in town, he had to pick a cop's. Now, from the ADC security cam vaults, guy talk. Undercover narcotics work requires an officer to blend in, bond with, and earn the respect of dumb criminals. Now, if you watch enough movies, you'd think every drug deal is a tense, dramatic scene fraught with intrigue. But here's a real major cocaine deal going down on video and audio. The dealers have just stepped out of their car and are entering the undercover officer's car.
Chip, huh? Yeah, I had to come down. I know, that's right. Get out the city for a little while. Uh-huh. Like that outfit, man. Thank you. It's my African look. Hey, where you get a good fish sandwich from around this place? Right where you at? What? Right there. Burger King. You done had them days with the all right? Man, what's going on? You tell me.
So far, these evil villains have discussed clothes, food, and the kids staying home from school.
Come out by $1,200. I'm still a little boy, what, $200. I owe him another $100 for something else. But
The officers have seen the dope, and the dealers are armed, so he signals with his headlights. Of course, wherever men do deals, women will be discussed.
my old lady, there. She all crazy. After you left boy, you put on my trail. Man. I don't want to give you the message half the time. I don't know how to think about it. Call Linda Jones. She found that number. She got that. She called Linda? She called, she dialed that number. No, I got in at 4 o'clock. This boy, drunk, and fell out, and he in my pocket. Oh. Got on the phone and said, what the with you?
Food is also a major topic.
We was trying to think about getting up on some gumbo while we was down here. When they sold some good gumbo. They have fresh seafood. Yeah, they got fish, everything. It's soul food joint. Anything but catfish.
And of course, women.
You're gonna need to follow me and I'll go drop my car off to Linda and ride with you. Yeah. So she been bitching about me going with the car all the time. Yeah, the same thing I mean. Yeah, but I mean, you know, I'm paying the car note. I put a $4,400 ring on the thing
And finally, they compare the best route home.
Which is the best road that you take when you leave Floman? That first exit where you take 69 or that something? Wait a minute, what's coming or going?
After a lovely conversation, it's time to arrest our new friends for felony possession and distribution. And don't forget to have a nice day. Next up, a blockhead who suffers from a real mental roadblock.
We had a concert, about 10,000 people. As they let out, they were coming out of the parking lot, and the people were coming out also with the cars. So it was very difficult to control the traffic. So at one end of the street, it was a short block. I placed my car broadside, blocking the northbound traffic, turned on my blue lights and flashers, went back to the wrecked traffic. And I see a car just pulling past the curb and my cruiser car, easing up there where all the people were. Two wheels up on the sidewalk. I couldn't believe it. I walked over to the car and I said, "Sir," before I could get my words out of my mouth, he said, "Officer."
You realize I could barely get beyond your car.
I don't believe you. That's the whole point.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "That's the object."
It was pretty clear. This guy was pretty dumb. And now, Pete Beagleson meets an optimistic dumb driver with an early alibi.
Stopped a guy one night. It was probably a Friday or Saturday night, 9, 10 o'clock at night. He's speeding. He's probably doing 60 and a 30. He's just really flying down the road. I go up and I blue light him and pull him over and walk up. And he says, "Officer." He says, "I know I was speeding." He says, "But," he says, "my girlfriend, she's pregnant. My girl, she's pregnant." And he's all dressed up, looking good, like he just come from a club. So I go up and I said, "Well, have her step out of the car." And I put on the spotlights for her to get out of the car. And she opens up the door and out steps this long-legged, big-busted, flat-stomach, well-built, good-looking lady. And I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, you don't look pregnant to me." And the guy looked at me, he said, "Well, we're not there yet." He says, "By the end of tonight," he says, "she's gonna be."
Well, as always, we're out of time before we're out of crime. Our thanks to the men and women of law enforcement. I'm Daniel Butler saying, don't be dumb, don't break the law, or we'll catch you on America's dumbest criminals.